We're going to solve a couple of equations here. The first one's going to be an absolute value equation. That's what these two symbols are. And let me just pull out my pen. And so for the first equation, we have the absolute value of 2x minus 5 equals 7. The key thing with the absolute value is that absolute values make negative numbers into positive numbers. So 2x minus 5 here could be positive 7 or negative 7, and the absolute value will make both of those equal to 7. So when I set this up, the first thing I have to do is actually write two separate equations. Sorry, no absolute value. So, like I just said, 2x minus 5 could equal 7, or 2x minus 5 could equal negative 7. The absolute value in this case would take care of it. So now we just solve these both separately. So on the one side, x equals 6, or on the other side, x equals negative 1. So you get both those values for the answer. They are both answers to the equation. The reason why it's or is because obviously x can't be both of those at the same time, but it can be either one of those two. You have a very easy way to check these answers on the calculator, and this is also good on a multiple choice test because you have the answers in front of you, so you could actually check these things out. If you go to the calculator, and let's say I want to check if x equals 6 is right, then I use the store trick that I had before. So 6 store x, and then just type the equation in. So to get absolute value, you hit the math key and move over to number and use that ABS. So the absolute value of 2x minus 5. And then you can go to the test menu, which is above the math key. So second math, and then choose equals in this case, 7. And then hit enter. And if you get a 1 back, that means true. So you know that that answer is correct. A 0 means false, so you know that that answer would be wrong. At that point, what I could do is I could check my other answer, negative 1, store x. And I don't have to type this in again. If you hit second enter, then it'll keep bringing back every single time you do it the last thing you typed in. So now it'll use this, but with negative 1, and it'll tell me that that's true as well. So I know that my two answers are true. So if you're having trouble solving this directly, you can always use the calculator to check the answers on a multiple choice test. The second problem we'll do is a more traditional equation, but the fraction involved makes it a little difficult. There's a few ways that you could go about solving this. I'll do it the way that I think I would find the easiest. That doesn't mean it's the way you would find the easiest. So if you like to do it a different way, that's fine. As long as we're both getting the same answer, then doesn't matter how you go about doing it. But to me, the easiest thing to do first would be to do the distribution on both sides, to simplify both sides. And so in this case, what will happen is we'll get 2x minus 6 equals x over 3 minus 2 over 3, and it does not get distributed to the 3 here because the 3 is not in the parentheses. At this point, you have a few choices. You could actually use the 2/3 and combine it with the 3 and now start dealing with fractions, which a lot of people don't like to deal with, or what's easier is to get rid of the denominators. But before you do that, we had to make sure that we did not have any distribution to do in the first place. We could have done it there, but it gets a little confusing for some people. It's a lot easier just to distribute out first. And so what we do is we find the common denominator, which in this case, since there's only one denominator here, that's 3, and multiply the entire equation by that common denominator. So we're going to multiply the entire thing, not just the one side or the two fractions, but everything by 3. And so this is going to be one giant distribution problem. So I'm going to get 6x minus 18 equals, and when you're multiplying fractions, the way I look at it is divide by the bottom, multiply by the top. So 3 divided by 3 is 1, times x is just 1x, minus 3 divided by 3 is 1, times 2 is still 2, and then 3 plus 3 is 9. Make sure that you distribute to everything, and don't fall into the trap of when you see a couple of fractions in a row, forgetting that this 3 is not a fraction and still needs to be multiplied by 3. Now we simplify the right side, so I've got a negative 2 and a plus 9 I can put together. So 6x minus 18 equals x plus 7. And bring the x's to the same side. So 5x minus 18, and add 18, and nicely 5x equals 25. So when I divide by 5, I get my final answer of x equals 5. Again, when I have a bunch of multiple choice answers sitting in front of me, if I'm not sure of doing this, or if I just want to check my answers, I can pull out the calculator and then plug into the original problem. So 5 store x, and then just type it in exactly as it's written. Remember, second test, or second math for the test menu, equals, I always like to put fractions in parentheses, even though in this case I don't think it's going to matter, but 1/3 times x minus 2 plus 3. And there's our 1 showing me that we got it right. And those are just a top couple of solving equations for you for review.